the one and only Pansy. Good morning, good morning, good morning, all. Kyle, Jolene, Alan, Victor, Mr. Dennis De Leon. It's Gio, Michael McCarthy. Good morning, everyone. How you all doing? What is going on? Where is everybody?
Getting ready to go
Can
to
you guys
closing
hear me?
table.
There we go.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm doing great.
That's great to
Just
hear.
out of one meeting, moving on here, then to another meeting, then rolling the sleeves up and getting to work. How you doing, Dan?
How we doing, fellas?
Fantastic.
Phenomenal. Sophia is in here. Good morning, young lady. What is new with you two? I miss you guys.
Likewise.
What is new? Not much. I do a lot of the same. I do a lot of the same
We
shit.
all do, don't we?
I've been doing a lot of the same shit. So
Yeah. Well, I had a long but good day, productive day yesterday. It was our monthly team gathering. So every month, once a month, we get together. My partner and I get together with every team member on our team in our company, and we just go over everything. We set KPIs for them. We talk about what's new, what's in their life, how we can help them improve for our team. We have a couple of new VAs, thanks to Sophia, that joined us as well, and
Wow.
had a nice chat with them as well. Lots of possibilities that can be done with them. So, great day. It was long, but it was great. Yeah, and now it's time to dispose some deals that we have in the pipeline, which is great. Got one in Kansas City, Missouri. One in Shreveport, Louisiana. One in Richmond, California. Where else? I got a few more, but those are the ones that come to my mind right now. Oh, yeah? Cool. Let's get together, MC. We just got this under contract yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. It's a sub 2 deal. Sweet interest rates, 3%, 3.0% to be exact. It's got another 26 years left on it. Ooh, I got to get together with Sumo. Awesome. That Kansas City one, that's a good one too for a fix and flipper if they want it. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk more about me. What's going on, fellas? What are you working on, John?
Well, I sent out a offer for another sub two with Mr. Matt Riley, who's for some reason in the audience today. I got some questions from the agent while I was at the gym yesterday, so I was answering some of those. I got the OG red polo back on. um, let's see. Then I've got a guy in Madisonville, Kentucky, that wants to sell at a reasonable price, and I need to get boots on the ground, for somebody to go out there and take some photos for me. So I'm trying to build a buyer relationship out there today, so that I can, send somebody to go out there. And then I've got another seller in Atlanta who's telling us that he wants to sell, but he hasn't picked up the phone. But it looks like he's asking a reasonable price, and I already connected with an agent out there that would go walk it and sell it for me. So things are moving along, Bob. We got our closing on sometime next week for the Killeen, Texas deal, and we're just gonna keep moving and grooving from there. next week. This is good. I had a really
Love it.
great conversation with that agent
Love it.
yesterday.
Fantastic.
There it
What
is.
about you, Dan?
Um, what's the question? What- I
What's
missed
going
the
on
topic
in
of the
your world?
conversation. Too much, too much. As you can tell, probably I'm sitting here moving around, looking at screen to screen, but too much. Made some changes to my CRM company. We're partnering with a I let the guys who are working with me individually. I let them we parted ways, so they're gonna go do their own thing.
Wow.
And I am going to be working with a company called Door Closers. A young man named Joseph, who was connected with me. Who they also do, a bunch of different real estate related services. But they're very closely related with the technology. We use the same technology for the CRM that they use inside of their business and everything. So for their cold calling services.
Hmm.
They're very familiar with high level technology and all that kind of stuff, like the high level back end and everything. So right now, he's been doing my onboardings so far since last week. He kind of took that over, but he's got a whole team of guys who are all familiar with my system, who are going to come on and start. We're going to have an actual support ticket system that's going to run full time, and it's just going to be an extra additional feature. You're going to have immediate access and additional support. So that's the one thing we're trying to get facilitated. That should be completely done by Friday. Developing my own tutorial based platform. So I'm getting off of school and developing my own tutorial video based platform to that's going to be directly integrated inside the CRM.
Oh, I
So
love that. That's awesome.
that's gonna be cool because it's gonna be like have my own branding, everything like that behind it. Um, Next week I'm closing on a Texas deal with Mr. Chris and Mr. Sam, Sam the man, and Chris. It's Chris the go getter. I don't know. I don't have a nickname for Chris yet, but I'm gonna get there. Um, we are closing on both. This is not Sam's first deal. Sam just closed his first deal yesterday, I believe. But this is Chris's first deal. So I'm buying a property that I initially helped Chris with identifying on the discovery. Him and Sam, worked on it together, and also thanks to Matt Riley for helping facilitate the transaction and kind of watching out and overshadowing that a little bit. And then also shout out to Mr. Zach and Brant, who are both in the audience today, who are getting me connected with a phenomenal agent in Amarillo, Texas. Um, so it's a huge collaborative community effort, man. Um, that we're gonna be you know it's not just me. It's not just one person. I mean, there is no such thing as a self-made millionaire. So, I'm definitely not just by myself, just running the whole ship. So, in every aspect of everything that we're doing, we got everything moving and grooving. We're trying to get this deal wrapped over as close as we can after closing, so that we can move on to the next one and hopefully close on one more deal before the end of the month. Because we got 5 months to close on 2 deals a month till the end of the year, and then because we have to get that all done for December, because my corporation in December has a very large announcement that we are currently working on, that I'm very, very, very happy for, that I can't wait to share with everybody. You guys might not be as excited about it because it's nothing real estate related, but it's something I've been working towards since I exited out of a situation last December. So I thought it was, ceremonial to announce the new situation coming in this December instead. So we're going to do our big announcement this December, since I exited out of my last situation last December, and it's going to be the biggest project that my corporation has been moving towards this whole time. So
Wow.
yeah, so we're we have a roadmap. We're on the roadmap, trying to really focusing on trying to hit a $10 million evaluation by the end of the year. So last year we did, we got a just a little over a $6.5 million evaluation. Going to try to get that to 10 million by the end of the year. I think we're definitely on track for all that. So
Fantastic. Congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you. Yeah.
That is
So
awesome.
just this is my partner was telling me. My partner was like, man, this is fun, man. I'm so excited. I said, yeah. I'm glad that you think this is fun, but this is all I got. So, this is my whole entire life. I was like, I appreciate it, that we're, that everybody's all on the same page here, that we all think this is fun, and that's great. I want you all to be having fun, but, this is not fun to me. This is everything that I got. I put everything on the plate for this. The past 6 years of my life have led to these moments. So, this every single day is dedicated to what I've been building for the last, 5 to 6 years. So,
And it's hopefully going to pay off
it's gonna pay.
handsomely.
It's gonna pay
So
off, Bob.
congratulations.
We can't. It can't not pay off. You guys don't understand. That's what I was telling my guys. Like, you guys don't understand. We have to roll a 6. We
That's right.
have no choice. For me, you all might have a choice. I don't have a choice. I have to roll a 6. I have no plan B. There is no other. There's no going back at this point. And what's crazy is when you build something too, like we built the CRM, right? Like we have we're like probably in the next couple months we're gonna hit over 300 accounts. You guys don't understand the amount of pressure that puts on me and the company, because here's the thing: you guys are relying on us to stay in business because you guys have your leads, your information, all these things, and people. A lot of you guys have been locked in for a year, so it's like we don't have a choice because you guys are all relying on us to stay open, to stay in business, to keep everything going. So when you have people's information and people's businesses now reliant on what you're providing, you can't fail. There is no opportunity, there's no position, there's no capability, no way that you can actually fail. If you do, you're failing multiple people, and it's catastrophic. So we're not gonna do that. I know a company that did that earlier this year. We're not gonna be in that. We're not gonna be in that same boat. Yeah, I don't want to speak on any names
Well,
or anything like that, but I don't want to speak on any names
Alan
or anything. But yeah,
Alan beat me to it, but it sounds like you did burn the boats.
we definitely burn
So
the boats for sure.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And that just means success or death, one or the other. And I know you're not going to die, so it's all success.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
It
Mr.
really
Matt
does get to that
Riley,
extreme.
how you doing, brother? Long time.
When you really want it.
What's that?
It's either death or success. Because it's
Yeah.
all you've got. Like Dan's saying, it's all you do. It's all you focus on. It's all you care about. That's it. It's your dream. You put it above
That's it.
almost everything else,
100%. 100%. So I saw some stuff from Master Matt Riley in the chat this morning. I'd love for him to jump on and talk about it.
He likes to pretend that he's camera shy.
Oh,
Yeah.
the big dogs are on stage. There's just, you gotta let the big dogs talk.
How you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are
Long
you?
time no talk.
Absolutely.
I'm doing
Good to-
good.
Good to have
I'm
you
doing
here.
good. Thank you. It's always great to be amongst friends like you guys.
Absolutely. It's always a good day when Bob's on stage.
Ah, thank you.
Now I can.
So what's this I hear about in
Yeah, so that was something that I had seen in Caleb Christopher's group. He's got like
Uh-huh.
for his creative TC, he's got his own Facebook group.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of his TCs, I imagine. She is a TC, and I believe she works with him. But yeah, that was a post that she had made as of this morning about that issue. So I just screenshotted it and dropped it in there. But in terms of there, I guess, on a sub 2 deal that may have been done incorrectly insurance wise.
Amazing.
A house burned down. So obviously, when you think of like worst case scenarios when it comes to insurance, you know, yes, you do think of, I guess, house fires, but a lot of, for me as a landlord, I always think of like tenant damage, and you're replacing floors and maybe the
Right.
roof, maybe you'll replace your roof and gutters and soffits, things like that. So in terms of like worst case scenarios, yeah, this was a whole house fire, I guess. And somewhere along the lines, it was structured incorrectly, and the seller was called by the insurance company, and the seller, probably with no ill intent, was like, "Oh, I sold that property. Like, call the buyer, call the owner, whoever bought the property," and that triggered an investigation from the insurance company, who then may have contacted the mortgage company as well, and then that just causes a whole shitstorm, of course.
Yeah.
And again, I don't, from what I was reading, I mean, obviously it was just text on paper, but it didn't seem like the seller did anything with ill intent. They probably just got a phone call and they're like, "Hey, we're calling about your insurance claim." And they're like, "Oh, that's not me. I sold that property. Call Matt Riley. He
Yeah.
bought it from me."
Yeah.
And then, thinking they were maybe doing the right thing, thinking they were helping you out by being like, "Oh, call Bob. He's the one that
Yeah.
bought it." And they're like, "What? Well, Bob's name's isn't on here. That's why we're calling
Yeah.
you."
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where, that's what I was talking about in the chat. Like, that's why it's complicated. That's why you should definitely have a transaction
Oh
coordinator.
my
That's why you
God.
should have things in place, because
Well,
unlike cash, where you're planning for the like during the transaction, during cash, but with subject to or creative, not only are you planning and setting things up for during the transaction, you're also setting up and planning for after the transaction. You're making sure you have all of your necessary signed documents, notarized documents, all the things that you need between buyer and seller, and mortgage portal information, whatever you're requiring during the transaction, but you're also needing to set up things for after the transaction. And what sucks is you could do everything correct and there's still a chance that like something will go wrong.
isn't that life though? You
Yeah,
can't
that's
plan everything,
Yep.
right?
You know
But,
what's
I mean-
interesting, Bob? Is I spoke to, we learn something new every day, right? Of
Mhm.
course, if we're doing it. Yeah, another big dog. If you're doing it the right way, you're learning something new every day, right? So, but it's
I'm gonna keep my
goofy.
arms down. I'm not gonna overstep anybody inside the call today. I'm gonna keep my arms.
I almost turned that long sleeve into a tank top by flexing too hard. Those sleeves almost popped off.
I saw you see that picture of John last. You see that picture of John last night?
I did see that picture of John last night. John's jumping off.
I'm getting bigger, huh?
I would flex, but I like this T-shirt, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Go on Amazon, order another one, and then do it.
Yeah, I need to.
And we did it as a wrap, as we created a note, right? We did a mirror wrap, and that ended up causing complications with the closing. It ended up delaying the closing. We got an attorney involved to draft up the promissory note, and Florida is not a deed of trust state; it's a mortgage deed state, so that's fine. We did a mortgage deed, but talking to the attorney, because I was like, it was delaying closing with that, and it was adding a lot of additional fees. Like recording the note was an additional like $1,500. And the buyer was already complaining about how much it was costing to close the deal, and I understood that. So I talked to the attorney, and she had basically told me that creating a note by doing a mirror wrap or any kind, it basically is pointless. That there's nothing that can really even be. You can't, if you foreclose on the note, then the first position also has to get foreclosed on as well. And basically doing it as a straight subject to provides the same protections on paper as having a note in place. And the things that she was saying, I was like, wait a second, what is going on here? I thought we all were on the same page. I thought we knew this thing, like doing it as a note, as whether a mirror wrap or a wrap, and having this promissory note and having the deed of trust or a mortgage deed, whatever the instrument is in that state, provides that additional protection. And she was like, no, basically, and she went through the whole thing, and basically doing it as a trust is still the most preferable way. But then after that conversation, my transaction coordinator went and talked to 2 other attorneys, and they spoke the opposite. And they said, no, having that promissory note, doing it as a rep, does provide protections. So I'm still on that page that it does, but there are attorneys, licensed attorneys out there, and not speaking ill, not saying that it's incorrect or correct.
Right.
It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like people are still learning in this space. It's been around forever, but it's still, and it gets confusing even for people that have done as many transactions as we have, where all of a sudden you'll get somebody that says something, and sometimes it's outrageous, right? Where we're like, that is 100% false. But she was speaking to some of the legalities of it, some of the actual legalities of it. And there were parts of it that did make sense, that made me scratch my head and go, man, is this, and then talking to the other 2 attorneys, they're like, no. And they explained why and the legalities of it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing it that way, but it's just interesting that, there's still this, depending on who you talk to,
Exactly.
you get different.
It's all in the interpretation of it, I guess, and it's all the kind of judge that you're going to face if you get to that point, and how they're going to see it and how they're going to interpret it. So is it as straightforward as a cash deal? Hell no. But it is a lucrative way of doing business. It's legal, and it's just all up to interpretation, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's why I think
that's a tough one.
Yeah, because it's not extremely black and white.
Yeah.
And that's always where it gets tricky, right? Like even there's like certain laws in the United States that, it's all open to interpretation, right?
Yeah,
Whoever's reading it,
exactly.
however they interpret it, that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And there is that part of it where it's like, yeah, man, I was on that phone call and I was like, motherfucker, I was like, just when I thought I had the right structure in place and I thought I was doing the right thing. Of course, I could do it as a straight subject too, but I was doing it this way to provide that extra step and protection for the seller and to do these things. And then she was like, yeah, none of that matters. Like, there's no point. I was like, what? So
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But that screenshot from this morning,
so
the insurance, and that as well.
How often does that happen though, Matt?
With which part?
With the insurance part. Where it's a house burning down, them going downhill from there.
Yeah, I would say just like anything else, right? Like everybody here that owns a home has home insurance, and it's very.
There you go.
Same with like a nuance, anything else. It's like a 1% chance that it's. That's why the insurance business is a $1 trillion industry.
Yeah.
It's like you pay for this thing that you might never use, and you're grateful and thankful that you have it. So if you ever do need, you're only using it 1% of the time. So, and like I said, that situation is worst case scenario. Your house burning down, like that's the worst of the worst when it comes to insurance, or needing to file a claim. Usually it's like, hey, a storm rolled in, I'm trying to get a new roof, so I'm gonna bring out an insurance adjuster and try to claim hail damage and get a new roof, soffit, siding, and that's not a big deal.
Or a tornado coming through Michigan.
Yeah, dude. And today too. Oof. I don't know why I moved here. This is crazy. Oh, what I'm doing here,
dude.
And they say California is.
I've been thinking about that lately, and I was like, California's got it right, where they got to deal with earthquakes every however often. But besides that,
oh man, we had a major earthquake last week at like 4.0. It lasted for like 2 seconds. Come on now, your house just shakes a little bit and it moves on. That's it.
I feel like
4 seconds is a long time. Okay.
Yeah, especially when you don't know what's going on. Your things are just falling off the shelf.
You all talk about earthquakes like we talk about hurricanes down here. Like
I mean? Right, exactly.
Wherever you live, whatever natural disaster,
you're just used to it.
You just become used to it, and it's just like everybody else who doesn't experience that. They're like, listen, I'd much rather deal with an earthquake than a hurricane, but then we're all like, we'd much rather deal with hurricanes over earthquakes. So I I personally would much rather deal with none of them over any of them. But I'd have to be living in the sky, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
As he lives in the sky.
Yeah.
As he lives in the sky, he says that. I don't know if a hurricane's hitting you up there.
Man, it gets interesting. It gets interesting up here. I mean, let me tell you, you'll be seeing stuff flying around outside all the way up here, and you're like, "Ooh, man!"
Have you ever heard?
you start like second guessing yourself. You're like, "Oh man, like what do I do?" You start like trying to see where you can protect yourself.
Have you ever
or some
heard your
shit,
building like moving in the like swaying a little bit?
I don't know
Let's scare
how
him a
you can
little.
tell the difference because the wind is so loud. You know what I
When
mean? The wind gets so loud that I don't know how you could really tell the difference
Dude,
exactly.
when I lived
between...
in the last building I lived in Chicago, it was 73 stories, and I was on the 51st floor, 50 or 51, I forget which one. And you could actually hear every
That's
once in a
too
while.
high.
Yeah.
I swear to God, dude, I swear there was noises that you could hear. Nothing like you couldn't hear like cracking, like it wasn't gonna, but it made noises. And dude, it's
Have you
designated.
seen-
It's designated to
That's
do.
too-
It's supposed to
that's too
do
high.
that. That's what makes it.
Have you seen? Yeah, that makes it durable.
Yeah.
But have you seen the Central Park tower in New York City? That's like one of the tallest residential buildings in the United States.
It's like 100
And
stories.
it looks like a little tiny like
It's
it doesn't look.
terrifying.
It shouldn't look like it's even like. How does you look at that building? And you're like, how in the hell
Terrifying.
does it go all the way up?
There was one by me that was across the way that was equal size, but with them from like floor 70 to 80, they built like a pass through where there was no units for the wind to pass through.
What?
So it was just a
That's
big
sick.
open like square space from one side to the other all the way through for a wind, and it was just architectural for wind. And I was like, yeah, man, if you have to put that in your building, I don't think you just shouldn't build buildings that tall then. I don't know.
Which
I don't
building
want to
is it?
live below that or above.
One with the hole in it.
Yeah. Where do you live? Oh, you see that hole? I'm 2 floors above that. If you can see, yeah, dude. No, thank you. And it was just for a wind pass through for how because it was right off the lake, and I was like, no, I just don't. So I'm telling you, I can hear it because we were right off Lake Michigan. You could hear it, and then I would just, dude, I'd have nightmares at night of like building just falling over and just me just free fall, like that dream where you're free falling and then you just wake up right as you, yeah.
I
So
feel like
I'm
the
good on
idea
the
of
first floor
building,
again.
Well, there was that
buildings,
building
though.
over in. I can't hear John. Why can't I hear John?
No one can hear me. Let me rejoin.
Me neither.
Can